Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai Bashem Rakakwadash. Shalom to the 144,000. The rest of the elect out there, shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, The Third Temple are the Sons of Israel. And this is starting with the elect. Anyway, I was watching a video entitled Sleight of Hand, or it should be Sleight of Man or Men, put up by GMS Infodoc, channel 12, which is Apostle Ryan Lob. And he even said in the video, slight. He said he should have said put down sleight of man, which he could have put down. He could have wrote it. He could still change that to sleight of men, because that's what the actual scripture says. It doesn't say sleight of hand. But a lot of times, when you say sleight, go to say quote Ephesians, you'll say sleight of men, but it's sleight of hand, but it's sleight of men. And sleight meaning somebody does magic tricks. You think it's real magic, but it's a sleight of hand. You're looking at one thing, distracted by one thing, and he does the other thing. And most people say, "Oh, wow, how does he do that magic?" And when I see somebody, a magician does tongue twister to me, I'm looking at what is he doing. I'm looking at behind him, in front of him. Is there's a curtain that's moving? Did I see an extra foot? Anyway, it's crafty, And most people are gullible, and they really think this guy has magical powers. But he doesn't. It's just a sleight of hand from the sleight of men. So anyway, in this video, which I highly recommend this video, I didn't even watch the rest of it because I was looking for a topic. So I'm going to lamb back off of this video pretty much. So I watched up to 22 minutes, almost 23 minutes in. It was a 43-minute video, and he was kind of going into detail. He was going into the Dome of the Rock and where in Israel, they wanted the real reason why they wanted to push out the people of Gaza, because they wanted to establish the land of Israel as a kingdom, because they really think they're the people. Now, some of them don't think it. They know it's all BS. But I believe there's some of them that actually believe that they're the people of the Most High, especially the Orthodox ones. There's two groups of the Orthodox, and they stem from New York. And I spoke to members of both sides. There's one group, one guy had a deep conversation with a Orthodox person, because I used to pick him up a lot, and the man was telling the truth. He's breaking down the two sects, the Lubavitcher and the Hasidim, and he said, I said, why ain't you in the land of Israel now? But there's your people that dress up Orthodox that are there. He said, well, there's two groups. He said they believe that they got to be there to meet the Messiah, and his group believes that the Messiah is going to bring them back to Israel. So there's a split right there. So, I dealt with them people, so I firsthand, okay. And just to say this, they're dealing with them, you have no problems, when you pick them up, when you work with them. I used to work for two small hats in the city years ago. They said, oh no, we're gonna take care of you. Don't worry about it. We're gonna make you happy. We're gonna make you happy. And I did a chore. It was me and Apostle Gabar, and sometimes me and Apostle Ricard. And they wouldn't tell us the price, but I knew that they would always take care of me. So I would say, well, I should get X amount of money for this, but they would give me more than I wanted. Like I said, let's say I should get $100 for this, $200, or whatever for this task, and they might give me $350. Apostle Gabar could tell you that. Then you had a situation with somebody. There was this antique. Well, this guy was dealing with furniture, the expensive furnishings, and the guy said that we stole something. So the bosses brought us to the back, and he said, "This guy said that you guys stole something. First of all, I don't believe that shit, because if you guys were thieves, y'all would have stole something. We would have caught you, because they catch motherfuckers. Oh, cuz, remember I mentioned cuz? I get conned on a nigga quick. We got him a job there, and he tried to rip. He stole some shit, and the way the bosses got him was they said there was a box of watches missing, and they said, you look in the truck. If you can find them boxes, they're gonna give you $1,000 reward for it. So he found, I found the boxes. Then they said, yep, you stole it, motherfucker. You fired. They didn't call the cops. They just fired him, man. But we knew cuz. I should have never gave cuz that job in the first place. If you listening, cuz, what's up? I get conned on a nigga quick. That's a little cuz. And he didn't even have a Hebrew name. His Hebrew name was cuz. Anyway, so they said, look, we don't believe that bullshit, but the guy wants to have a meeting with you at 4 o'clock. Can you make it? I said, no problem. You know what we did? We got there at 10 minutes to 4. So the guy, and we knew that the motherfucker was lying, but he said he was a scam artist. He had insurance companies. He had his shit insured. Then he would say that the shit broke, and he would get. That's how he make his money. So he went to the doorman, and he said, "Did you see these guys steal something?" And the doorman said, "Nah, them guys, I ain't seen them steal nothing, no." So the dude, what he gave, $50 each. But that back then, that was the early 90s. $50 was a lot of money. He peeled off 50 for me, peeled off 50 for, I think, Apostle Gabar. But anyway, them people, we call them demons, which they are. They're a bunch of Edomites. They're a bunch of devils. But when it comes to business, they do make you happy. The ones I dealt with. The ones I dealt with. When I used to come to pick them up, Jake, you got to wait. You got to call them when you come, especially the black women. But these people, they out there waiting for you. Right when you pull up, they there. Hey, how you doing? Have a good day. Nice, here's a tip. You're good, this and that. And, you're a good person, blah, blah, blah. But even though they're the devil. So them people that I dealt with, they actually believe that they're the people because they were born into it. As newborn babes, they were circumcised on the 8th day. They live in a community where when you go to their areas, you see writing, you see billboards, everything is in Hebrew, Not just their temples, but their stores. Everything will be written in Hebrew. And a lot of them couldn't even speak English. They spoke broken English. A lot of them, they spoke English, of course, but the older ones didn't even speak English. They just spoke their form of Hebrew, So they really believed that they're people. Now the people, I don't know. This guy Netanyahu, he's Polish, by the way. He's a Polish descent. His descendancy goes back to the Poles, which you had actually Edomites. You had other tribes of Edomites. You had small hats, because a lot of those people, the European type people, what do you call that? European phenotypes. They were not the people back in Europe. That some of them could have been Catholic and Orthodox, Greek Orthodox, and other things, but they converted them because they understand about the conversion. That's why they'll say, "Oh, Jake, you can come in, but you got to convert. You're not the people, but you can convert." Well, they're all converts. Now, some of them are actually Amalekites, and some of them are just regular Edomites, and some of them are Jake that look like Edomites. So you speaking to one of them, and you don't know that person could be a Jake, or of Italian, Kittim or whatever, Remember, we look like everybody on the planet. So, anyway, watch this video. He goes into the red heifer, and then he breaks it down the right way. And he goes into the Hebrew, the word heifer. It's actually a Hebrew word. It's a feminine way of saying something in the masculine, you know. It's a feminine, heifer is a feminine word. And they equate it to, they have to get a red heifer, which is a cow, and they have to sacrifice it. But now in this video, Apostle Ryan says, well, they did find, I believe he said 3 heifers, but they were in Texas. So you say, well, wait a minute, why couldn't they find it in Israel? You know, they couldn't find it in Israel. But anyway, their whole thing is they got to kill the red heifer, or the 3 red heifers, or whatever. I think it's 1 red heifer, which is not even scriptural. And this is fully explained in this video. And they want to take where the Dome of the Rock is, and they want to destroy that, and they want to build an actual temple, which they don't understand that the 3rd temple is not an actual physical temple. The 3rd temple are the sons of Israel, or the children of Israel, starting with the elect. And the temple is being built right in their eyes. That's was that Psalms 50 and 16. Read a couple of verses down. Ezekiel chapter 37. Really read that whole chapter, because it says the Most High is going to bring us back to the land and set up King David. Now if they build up a temple, where's King David at? There's got to be a King David. So they're not the people, although some of them, maybe 5%, maybe 25% of them could actually be Jakes. See, we're not just a bunch of guys saying, oh, we're the Israelites and you guys are a bunch of devils and that's it. And we recently had the Passover. We honored the Sabbaths, which the new moon is coming in, and it's going to come in on the 8th, which is the solar eclipse. So we know that that's the new moon, which the IUIC, they say the new moon is the full moon, when nobody teaches that. Nobody that I know of teaches that. That's ludicrous. That's ridiculous. And he knows that he's going off because we done told him, and we not only did we tell him in videos, we broke it down to him. We broke it down to him. When Yahweh Shah was on the cross, the 3 hours of darkness from the 3rd hour to the 6th hour was a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse, not a solar eclipse. This thing coming up is a solar eclipse, different from a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse lasts, the longest lunar eclipse, as I said before, the longest was 3 hours and 41 minutes, 42 minutes. So when Yahweh Shah was on the cross, the darkness, it was dark for 3 hours. So that's definitely a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipses only come on full moons. He had just finished eating the Passover. The Passover comes in 2 weeks after, 14 day, even going into the 15th day, which is 2 weeks after the new moon. So I just explained it to you in a nutshell. Now, if you roll up on any of these individuals in the IUIC and you explain that to them, they won't see it, because they don't use their brains. They turn their brains off. They just receive instruction and then regurgitate it. I just explained it to you. In a few words, I made it crystal clear. That the new moon is when the moon is dark. And then they'll go to, what is that, Psalms, I think it's 81 and 3, if I'm not mistaken. Or 80, I think it's 81 and 3. I'm not going to go to it. They break that wrong. They don't understand. See the full moon, see? And the new moon, which is the full. They don't understand it. They don't understand the scriptures. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Shit was shaking. It felt like a damn earthquake. The whole fucking apartment was shaking. Let's hope it's not an earthquake. Anyway, I'm in the midst of doing the work of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, so more of an earthquake, bro. The whole fucking building shook. It rumbled like for about 3 seconds. I never felt nothing like that. It's the whole fucking place shook. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Raparya. Washamarya. Okay. Give me a second there. All right, anyway, a little bit shaken up. The whole fucking house shook. I'll check later. Earthquake reports. Anyway, let's get back. Let's try to get back into this. But anyway, I put some precepts up. Okay. So I have this article here. I hadn't read it. I kind of breezed through it. It said the red heifer in the third temple in end time prophecy, which the end time, the third temple, which has nothing to do with the red heifer. It said Numbers, has nothing to do with building the temple. It says third temple in end time prophecy. Third temple in end time prophecy is coming to pass right before your eyes. The Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is a requirement of the Lord, that the Lord has commanded, tell the Israelites to bring you a red heifer without defect or blemish, and that has never been under yoke. This will be a lasting ordinance both for the Israelites and for the aliens, which are Israelites that are out, like when it says strangers in the Old Testament, and they'll jump up and say, see, the strangers are talking about other. No, the strangers are referring to Israelites that are born outside of the land, living among them, because the law of the stranger is that these Israelites can say, oh, I want to live in the land now. So they got to, well, what's your tribe? I'm from the tribe of Benjamin. So they got to go to the tribe, wherever the tribe of Benjamin is settled, then they got to give them a plot of land for free. That's also in, I believe that's Ezekiel. Let me do something. This is going to be a little long. Okay, let me do this. Let me do it this way. Isaiah 14. Okay, right here, the strangers shall be joined with them. You got Israelite group saying that's the other nations. Ariana in the 7, you should say that's the other nations trying to be us. No, these are Israelites. But the word goes back also as alien. I'm going to prove that. This is in a way of back to the basics. Okay, let me see. Strangers. Strangers is Gar. In this case, is Hagar is the stranger, or the strangers would be Hagaryim. Hagaryim means strangers, as opposed to Hagar, the stranger. Sojourner, meaning Israelites that sojourn through the land, a temporary inhabitant, or a newcomer lacking inherited rights until they ask for it. I want to live here now. They got to give you a plot of land according to what tribe you are from. Of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights, so they can always get their rights back. And to show you that they know that Israelites are dark skinned, brown skin, is they open up the doors to the Falasha under the law of, what do they call it? They call it something else, but it means the law of the stranger. It's a simple word, but I can't, damn. The law of return, the right of return, I think they call it, which is the law of the stranger. So when they let the Cushites come in, which said that they were the Jews, they're saying that they don't have to convert, that they're actual descendants. So wait a minute, Vocab Malone. You did a video yesterday about the icons, and no, this the one guy you had, one doctor said those black icons, if they're black, that's that something to the effect that's dirt, that's built up dirt on them. That's why they look black. No, them icons got afros. How did they get afros? So these Edomites are hurt. Anyway, let me do this. So we know now that word stranger is an Israelite lives out of the land, also alien, right? If you go to Exodus 12, the word stranger comes up two times. There's one time it says the strangers cannot eat. Next time the strangers can eat, but they got to be circumcised, whatever. Meaning another nation can partake of the Passover. Now, whether they're going to partake of it in the kingdom, I know they're going to partake of for the fact they're going to partake in the tabernacle. They're going to have to honor the Sabbaths, the new moons. Okay, so this is what I want to do 92 times. And it's in the book of Ezekiel. And that's why the Christian rose up, well, it says the Gentiles and the news is Gentiles. You don't understand the history. You don't understand how there was Israelites that were calling themselves Gentiles. Okay, bear me for a minute. Okay, I found it. Ezekiel 47 verse 22, and it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you and the strangers that sojourn among you, which are the Israelites born in another land, which shall beget sons or sons and daughters among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country, because they're Israelites, but they were only born outside of the land of Israel. Among the children of Israel, they shall have inheritance with you among the tribes. So Latinos talking shit in the hallway. Okay, so now let me come on back. Okay, so let me go. I put a little list together. Yeah, get back in the fucking house. Fucking yapping. Anyway, so let's go to Amos. I'm sorry. Let's come back over here. Okay, so I read this much. A yoke. This will be a lasting ordinance, both for the Israelites and for the aliens living among them. Numbers 19, 1 to 2. That's 10, whatever. The Dome of the Rock, which that's the Arabs own that. So their thing is to push them out, utterly destroy them, push them out. And the news, American news, they know when you go back to October 7th, some weeks after that, you had Israel declared war against Hamas, but they attacked the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people are not necessarily Hamas. Hamas, the organization, are Palestinians, but Palestinians are not. If you're a Palestinian, just like Italian person is not a mafia. Even though Italian mafia are Italians, it doesn't mean, oh, you're Italian, you must be mafia. No. So their thing was, and we know the backstory. We always know the backstory. What's the saying? Something's rotten in Denmark. So they declared war against Hamas, but they will blow up a hospital, which is hands off according to international law, and refugee camps. They were hitting all that shit. Oh, we thought there was a Hamas guy. We thought there was Hamas in there. Oh, they're hitting the food people. This guy, he's a chef. He has this program where you feed people that are starving. And they were killing, and they had a cars that said whatever the name of the food program is. I don't know the daggone name. So you even got the president saying, look, y'all got to stop this shit. And the whole world sees that it's a genocide. But if they would go back some months, they would see that Netanyahu and his name, what is his name? Benjamin Netanyahu. Break his name down for me. Anybody that knows the Hebrew. Nobody from the IUIC, because y'all don't know the Hebrew. Y'all don't go into the Hebrew. Anyway, he quoted, one of the scriptures that he quoted was Isaiah chapter 60, verse 18. You can read that. If Isaiah 60, verse 18 is coming to pass as he says it, that means the whole chapter of Isaiah is going to come to pass. What does it say in Isaiah? That the Israelites are going to enslave all the nations around about them. So he's calling to enslave them. Then maybe a month or two later, he quotes, I believe it's First Samuel, where the Most High went to Samuel and told Samuel to tell Saul the king to kill all the Amalekites. He said, kill their cattle, kill their kids, kill their babies, kill their suckling children, their pregnant women, their old people, just wipe them out. So here this guy made a speech saying that he called them the Amalekites. When they're the Amalekites, he said, these guys are Amalekites. And you know what the scripture said? We got to slaughter them. So you mean to tell me you have these journalists that forgot that he said that? Fuck out of here, man. I see why this man is going to go down the way he's going to go down and utterly destroy. I see why the Most High, put the spirit on Obadiah to write down Obadiah 1 verse 18. But there was an earthquake in my house. It says the dome of the rock stands definitely on the Temple Mount. So the Temple Mount is where their plan is to build the temple, the third temple, where the Holy Temple once stood. The second temple was destroyed by the Romans. Yeah, the temple was destroyed 2 times. The Babylonians and then the Romans, where one stone shall not be upon another. That's the fulfillment of the Romans in 70 AD. After the Jewish people should be the Israelites. Jewish has nothing to do with Jewish is the ish is what do you call it? Suffix for Jew, and Jew is the tribe of Judah. It's supposed to be, if anything, it should be Israelitish or Israelites. People fought to keep the temple pure from Rome. You can click and read the rest of it. I'll read a little bit more. Throughout almost 2,000 years of exile, the Jews, they put 1900. The Jewish people earned a return to Israel, which they're not the people. Are some of them the people? Yes, of course. So you got to speak to them, knowing that this guy that's called himself a Jew could be an Israelite. Fought to keep the temple. Exiled. The Jewish people earned a return to Israel. Not earned, they took it. You know, they pushed out the Palestinians. They took a certain amount of land, and they kept pushing the land out, and they were backed up militarily by the U.S. Build a third temple in Jerusalem and restore the temple service. The temple service would mean everybody has to come up under the laws. That's like the Sharia. Israelite laws, the laws that we practice are like what is that? What's that law? The Arabs, what is it? Shiite law, I think it is, which they got from the scriptures. Adultery, you got put to death. You know. Let me see. 3 times a day, observant Jews pray, may the holy temple be rebuilt speedily in our day. And then you see this guy right here, right? Now you have the IUIC. They'll say keep the laws, and they say where's your fringes at, right? You ask them where's your phylacteries. This is the phylacteries. The laws is supposed to be right there. It's supposed to be actually between your eyes, low like that. And you're supposed to have a leather black strap around you, which means the laws are around you. So now if the IUIC says, well, that's a spiritual thing, ask them where does it say it's a spiritual thing or a physical thing or a spiritual thing? And for that matter, if that's the case, Numbers, what is that? Numbers 15:37, I think it is. Haven't been to that in a while. Those fringes, they got to be spiritual too. So I got my fringes on. You just don't see them because they're spiritual. So these guys in the IUIC, they don't understand the scriptures, and you're not going to get a deep understanding if you don't go into root words. So anyway, you can read this article if I remember. I'll leave the link in the description box. If not, if you put down the red heifer and the third temple and end time prophecy, you can put the Messianic Prophecy Bible Project. Because you got these evangelicals thinking that these are the people, which the Most High is not dealing with these evangelicals, and they all know about us. They know about the Israelites. So now let me go. I made this I got a little long. I didn't want to. So let me just try to breeze through these precepts. It's going to be hard to do. Okay, Amos 9:11. Amos 9:11. See, being an Israelite is not just calling The so-called white man, the devil. You got a lot of these people that have, joined different camps. A lot of them because it's something to do. Some of them are the elect. We don't know. We don't know. Okay, so Amos 9:11. Amos 9:11. It says, in that day will I rise up the tabernacle of David, which is formed. Tabernacle of David is talking about the Israelites, that generation that lived during the time of King David. I'm not talking about the tribe of Judah, which is Shia, high priest Shia. That's Tabernacle of David is the tribe of Judah. Tabernacle of David is not the tribe of Judah. The Tabernacle of David are the Israelites, the 12 tribes that were, actually at that time was 13 tribes that were living during the time of King David. Saul was like a different generation. Solomon was a different generation. Rehoboam was a different generation. And the scriptures say there's 4 generations, right? You commit a crime, you come back in your 4th generation to pay for your crime. And that day will I rise up the tabernacle of David, which is fallen. The tabernacle of David are the Israelites. That is fallen and close up the breaches thereof, meaning nobody can get in except you're one of the tabernacle of David, starting with the elect. And I will raise up his ruins. And that's talking about the people first, because we represent a brick, and I will build it as in the days of old. Put us in order, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. Now that's talking about the land, as I said before. And of all the heathen, this is talking about land, which are called by my name, saith the Lord. Now, if you look up the precepts in the red book, this precept right here is going to take you to Obadiah to show you that it's talking about Edom is the land of Edom. And I went through this before. Come on now. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall. And this is yet to happen, because there's no time in history after Rehoboam and Jeroboam, when the split came. There's no time in history that they came back together, 2 kingdoms as one. This is happening now. That's why we have the 12 tribes, 12 tribe sign. If you don't have the 12 tribe sign, or you against the 12 tribe sign, then guess what? You are not of the elect. You're not of the house of David. The fulfillment of the 12 tribes sign came about in this time, not during the time of Yahushua, not during the time of Ezekiel. And the house of Jacob, which represent Judah, shall be a fire. In the house of Joseph, which represent Israel, a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. That's when you take wood, you burn it, and it becomes black, and you throw it out. It's stubble. Actually, you take the stubble and you put it in the earth, and the elements from that stubble feeds the earth. That's why people get sick, because they used to do that years back. The farmers used to do that. And what happened, that ash will produce selenium in the ground. So when the food grows, there's selenium in it. That you don't get selenium in food no more. So the way you get selenium is one way is what is it? What's the nut? Not macadamia. Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts is the number one nut that you can eat that contains selenium, and you can do research on selenium and the benefits of selenium. So when I do my smoothies, I call them selenium nuts, but they're actually Brazil nuts. I would put, and they're a trace element, so you can't eat too much of them. So I would put maybe 3 of them, maybe 4. And they shall kindle in them. We're going to burn them up and devour them, utterly destroy them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh have spoken it. Now this is what I wanted, 19 verse. And they of the south shall possess the mountain of Esau. The mountain of Esau is talking about the land. And they of the plain, the Philistines, the land of the Philistines. Why were we fighting against the Philistines? Because they were saying that this is our land, and we were saying, no, this is our land. And which the Philistines, by the way, you have Palestinians and not Philistines. The Philistines were in the land of Canaan, but they were Mizraim. And they shall possess the field of Ephraim. They're going to get the land of Ephraim back, which is Samaria, and the field of Samaria, which Ephraim dwelt, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. Oh, if you're saying there's only one Savior, it says, 21st verse, and saviors shall come up from Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. So we can also call ourselves saviors. Saviors on a lower level. It says saviors. Let's look that word up. It says Yeshai, right? It's actually supposed to be Hawashai. The word should be Hawashai, but Yeshai is another way of saying, like these clowns at the GOCC, they'll say Yeshaya, which is they say that's the name of the deliverer, or higher. The Most High is going to destroy them for real. Oh, they're way worse than IUIC. They're way worse. So let me see. Okay, let me come back. Let me come back to Amos. Behold, 13 verse, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. The plowman are the slaves, and the reaper are the ones that reap the benefits as to what the slave does. And I'm going to prove that. This is in Isaiah 61. Precept upon precept. Now, Yahushua in Luke 4, if I'm not mistaken, he read out of Isaiah 61, and he said, today this has been fulfilled, meaning he said that he was the Messiah. But now, if that came to pass, the rest of Isaiah 61 has it come to pass. And they shall build the old waste, right? And strangers, which are, now right here, the word there should be Nakar. Let's see if I'm correct. I'm sorry. Zerai. Let me look up the word Zerai. I'm sorry. Zawar. This is of another nation. As opposed to Gar. And then you have Nakar. And they shall build, 5th verse, and strangers, other nations shall stand and feed your flock. And the sons of the other nation shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. Now I'm going to look up the word plowman. Now the word plowman in Isaiah 61 and plowman in Obadiah, I'm sorry, Amos 9. Then you go back into Hebrew, they're two different words. But I'm going to show you something. This plowman here is plowman. The word is a car. Husbandman means farmer. Plowman, husbandman or farmer, working the land yet not owning any of it. When we went into captivity in the South, we were on plantation. What is a plantation? It's a farm, a place that you plant things and you reap what is grown from the ground. So this time they're going to be in the plantations, and we're going to be the slave masters. And this is a prophecy that has not come to pass. This is why we say these other nations are going into captivity. Okay. And then let me get Psalms 79 and verse 1. A lament over the destruction of Jerusalem and prayer for help. A psalm of Asaph. O Most High, the heathens are coming to thine inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps. It happened 2 times. Babylonians and mainly the Romans, 70 AD. And they're known as what? Heathens. Jeremiah 51 and 51. We are confounded because we have heard reproach, shame, have covered our faces. For strangers, in this case is the Romans, the last nation that took down our temple, destroyed our temple, and scattered us was Luke 19. They have built a trench around us, a fence around us, and walled us in. This is why we had to commit the act of cannibalism because they didn't let nothing in. This is what the Israeli forces are doing to these people. They're starving. A lot of them are dying, starving. Their job is to it's called genocide, but American media will not say the word genocide, and you can see it's genocide. You see some guy body with a baseball bat beating somebody's brains in, and the guy said, "Oh, I'm just showing them love." That's not love. For strangers are come into the sanctuary of Yahweh's house. Now, during the time of Antiochus, they defiled the temple. They didn't destroy the temple. The temple was only destroyed 2 times. During the Babylonian time of the Babylonians, and during the time of the Romans, which was 70 AD. Actually, that took place from around 66, when Nero was still in office. From 66 to 74, the last stronghold was Masada. And this is talking about us. These were Romans, so-called white people, Edomites. They're descendants. Jewish rabbis will tell you that the Romans are the descendants of the Edomites. So, the Putin bringing out open up this box with black icons, and people are saying, "Oh, that's just dust built up on the years. And he looks black, but he's really..." So what they're saying, what is Vocab is saying, what he said last night, him and this doctor, he's saying that they're debunking what, they're lending doubt to the black images, because they don't want you to say, because if it's true that the Lord and the saints were black, then who are the descendants of the people? They're black, so they narrow it down. The adversary, Lamentation 1 verse 10, the adversary has spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she have seen that the heathen, the other nations, entered into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. They didn't give a shit. Then they hit the treasury. I'm almost out of here. Ezekiel 7:21. And I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth, because they're the only empire that has control of the whole earth, for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. When did this take place? 70 AD. For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it, because they robbed the treasury. That was during the time of the Flavian dynasty, and what they did was they needed money to build the Flavian Amphitheater, which is the Colosseum. It's called the Colosseum. That was called a public work. Micah 3 verse 12. Therefore shall Zion, for our sake, be plowed as a field, not a stone shall be left upon another, that shall not be thrown down. And Jerusalem, and that represents the people too, and the actual temple, shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of the floor of forest. Now, Acts 15 and 16 goes into Peter and James. They had the Cornelius Council, the Jerusalem Council, and James quoted Amos 9, which didn't take place at that time. Amos 9 is getting ready to take place in our time. So anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. I know I went a little long. Please forgive me. Shalom.